We are definitely image-based or visual journalers. We encourage people to step out of just the writing and add, wherever appropriate, a photo, a ticket stub, a postage stamp, some doodling, drawing, whatever it is that's a visual, because a visual or an image will help you retain memories and capture those memories to recall 2 times better than your words. Whether you are trying to remember the event for more details in your writing, or if you are trying to capture something so when you look back that you have a better recall, oh my gosh, an image is the way to go. So how do you attach that? Well, that's what I'm going to talk to you about a little bit today, because of course you can put glue on the back of something and put it in your journal. And that works if you could control your glue. But there are a couple of other ways that we'd like to show you. So for example, I've got several journals here that are example journals that we use for class. And this particular one, I have used just glue. So these are business card sized journal prompts. And all I did here was a little glue across on the back, maybe a 1/4 inch, just a swipe with my paintbrush or finger. This one I attached from the side. And notice that if I had glued these all down, I would really be limited on the space I had to write. So nice to have that little extra, maybe something I don't want immediately in front of somebody's eyes, or additional space. But watch this one. These 2 were glued. This one is hinged. Do you see how nice and freely that flows? It gets out of your way, doesn't have to bend, but it's protected. Now this hinge is just with a piece of tape that hits halfway on your paper and halfway on the object you're adding to your journal. That works beautifully. Just like instead of glue, you could use double stick tape. Again, they both work. This works as well, but can you see that glare? I'm not a fan of that. Now there are places I do like it, but I'm not a fan of it in my journal because I also can't write on that very well. And I sometimes like to embellish around as I'm processing. It's kind of meditative. So I'm going to show you the other way. This journal is one we used with pre-writing kids. And this example is perfect for what we teach. And it is a hinge. Do you see that little piece of paper? That is all it is. A little hinge. And we've used it in several places. I'll show you some more examples as we get going. But let me do a demo with you. So for this one, I found another journal page from one of our teaching journals. And I went to just for video's sake, I went to a colored page. And this little cutout was from somebody gave me a container of really cool things they'd saved from greeting cards and gift cards. And I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't that look nice on there? Now, I don't know how I'm going to journal around this yet, but I don't have to. I can find a page, put it in my journal, come back to it in a day, a year, a month. It doesn't matter. I can do that. So we're going to attach this. So let's look at attaching this. Of course, you can put it anywhere you want on your paper, and you could hinge it from the top, either side, or bottom. So you just have to decide which one you want. I am going to do a top hinge. And this, normally I would use white for my paper. This is just a piece from Scrap Bin, and I wanted to use this color so that you could see it easier. So what I'm going to do is make sure that it is just a little bit shorter than the item that I am going to be attaching. And then I'm going to simply finger press this in half. So notice that it is a little hinge. I can give it a fingernail crease. I could use my bone folder. But all has to happen now is that it has to attach to the back, and then gluing separately, you would glue this and attach. Now you could, if you're not comfortable with glue, you could use double stick tape here, although you'd want to make sure it was the right width for this. When I use my glue, sometimes I use a glue brush, which you of course need to wash out every time or keep in a moisture. I am using just a smear of this. So I am going to just smear that on. You don't want all of the thick globby gloop stuff, like, squirt like kids will do. And you are going to attach it. Now, I just laid it on gently, and I am going to just bump it. See how I can still see a little? I'm just going to bump it into place. You can move it and maneuver it. You want it all the way up to the top. Check that you're not showing. And PVA sets up kind of like tacky glue. It's pretty fast. And you will create your hinge. So when you know where you want it, a little more glue. I'd rather put it on a couple of times than have too much. Spread it good and thin. By the way, the best way to get glue off your fingers is not to wash them. It's to rub it. Get that off. And then decide where you want it. Again, if this was a delicate material, I could put a little napkin or something there. But that is all it is. And again, normally I wouldn't do blue, but it's kind of pretty too. And it's not showing there. Now, this is an example of how I use those underneath parts for side thoughts. This whole theme turned out to be about Norway. And I had, of course, I was trying to process what I was going to do, so I drew the Norwegian flag. And as I was working, I played around with some hardanger, the traditional needlework from Norway, as part of the pattern. And just rough handwriting, nothing fancy, not my best handwriting. I was putting random thoughts. Notice how they're different directions. I kind of do that with mine because your mind will go to different things. And what it did is this image reminded me of a photo my cousin took when she was in Norway. And I often wondered where that photo was from, because it was definitely a winter scene. And I thought, gosh, I wonder where she was standing. What part of the country was she in? And so that random thought that kept coming to mind, I could put here without it being in my regular writing. So that's where these little extras and that little flap of a hinge can give you another surface and let you explore just where else this is going. Now, this one was, again, an example we did in class where we had some different phrases. Okay, so this is Be My Sunshine. I did a hinge, and that particular hinge went on to, I wrote, of course, Be My Sunshine, the song of You Are My Sunshine. I wrote the words. I didn't have to write anything too detailed on that. Does it have a lot of history and meaning for me? Of course. Many of us remember our parents singing that to us or some other variation. Will that come in? Absolutely. But what I wanted to show you is it also made me think about John Denver's song of Sunshine on My Shoulders. So what I did is I cut this page out of the notebook paper I had it on, or journal paper, and hinged it again So I could put John Denver's lyrics from Sunshine on My Shoulders. And I still haven't done all the details, but is there room to write more? Is there room to play around more? Absolutely. For that matter, I could trim that whole page and hinge it to another page. And then I could put the things that may be a little more personal so that I could enjoy the page, but still keep it as a teaching model. If you've been away from journaling for a while or didn't know where to start, wanted something a little different, we would encourage you to head to our resource section. I've got a link in the description. We have a downloadable one-page journal for free that is a form of a meander book, and we've already designed it so the prompts are on it. It's a simple cut and fold little journal that would attach beautifully, and I'll put the link down below. But again, a free resource for you to just put a little spark in the work you've been doing and to start enjoying the benefits of journaling. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be dark and deep. The benefits are there, and they're waiting. See you next time.